back one. Supposed to be one big box. And going back in. She's on the bill.
All right, people of the state of Michigan versus John Wesley Ivins, files 2023534 and 2123793. Mr. Ivins is here appearing by video with his attorney, Mr. George. Mr. Gabriel is the prosecutor, and Mr. Ivins wishes to enter a plea. Mr. Ivins, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gabriel, what's the offer?
Your Honor, calling court's attention to file 21-23793FH. Mr. Ivins would be entering a plea of guilty to the possession of methamphetamine and count 2 in that information, fleeing a police officer in the 3rd degree. In return for his plea of guilty, we will dismiss the drug supplement. We will dismiss the habitual offender supplement. We will dismiss the count 3 of assaulting and resisting a police officer, and we will dismiss in total file 20-23534 FH.
Is that correct, Mr. George?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Ivins, the offer in the case is that you plead in file 21-23793 to a charge of possession of methamphetamine, a felony punishable by up to 10 years and or a fine of up to $15,000. And unless sentenced to more than 1 year in prison, the court shall impose license sanctions. And to count 2, fleeing and eluding in the 3rd degree, which is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and or a fine of up to $1,000, and the Secretary of State shall suspend your driver's license for 1 year. If you plead to those 2 counts, they would dismiss the drug double. They would dismiss the assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer. They would dismiss the habitual offender 4th offense notice, and they would dismiss file 2023534, which contains a count of possession of methamphetamine and a count of use of methamphetamine as a habitual 4th offense. Now, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently
Yes, sir.
on probation or parole?
No, not at this time.
Okay, so then how do you plead to the charge in file 2123793, count 1, possession of methamphetamine?
I plead guilty to the charge. I did possess methamphetamine on the date.
Okay, and on count 2, the fleeing and eluding in the 3rd degree, how do you plead to that charge?
I plead guilty to that charge also. I did turn the corner and not pull over for the officer, and I exceeded the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in a residential area. I parked the car and got off and took off on foot.
All right, thank you. Other than what we've talked about in court today, has anyone promised you anything else to get you to plead?
No,
Anybody threaten you?
no.
You doing this of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
You understand that if I accept your pleas, you'll not have a trial of any kind, and that you'll be giving up all the rights that you would have had at trial. Those include the right to be tried by a jury, to be presumed innocent, to have the prosecutor have the burden of proving that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, to have all witnesses appear in court that are going to testify against you, to be able to cross-examine those witnesses, to have the court order any witnesses you want to appear in court. You'd have the right to testify if you want to testify, or you'd have the right not to testify and not have that silence used against you. You understand you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, I do.
You also understand that you're giving up potential defenses by pleading guilty as compared to if you went to trial, and that any review of the case by the Court of Appeals will be by application for leave and not by automatic right, as if you went to trial. You understand that?
Right. Yes, I do.
Now, you already told me quite a bit here, so we just need to cover a few more things, but it alleges on April 14th of 2021, you were in the city of Three Rivers, County of St. Joseph, state of Michigan. Is that true?
Yes, true.
And that at that time, you did knowingly or intentionally possess methamphetamine. You said you did have methamphetamine on you at that time?
Yes. Yes, I did in the vehicle, and I claimed what was in the vehicle that I was in, and I was driving.
And okay, that jumps to our next one, that you were the driver of a motor vehicle that was given direction to stop by officers, and that you knew the officers were in the course of their duty, and that you failed to stop, and that this occurred in an area where the speed limit was 35 miles an hour or less. And I think you said that you knew the officers were behind you. They tried to pull you over. You didn't stop. And that occurred in an area where it was 25 miles an hour, 35 miles.
Yeah, it was 25, 30. It was a residential area.
Okay.
It was,
and then you jumped. Then when you did come to a stop, you jumped out of the car and ran a little bit, but they're dismissing that count.
Right, correct.
Okay. Are counsel satisfied a factual basis has been established by the defendant's statement of facts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are either counsel aware of any other promises, threats, or inducements?
No,
No, Your Honor.
Court comply with court rule.
court has.
Yes.
I find the pleas made are accurate, understanding, voluntary. There's factual basis. Therefore, I accept them. We'll set these for July 23rd. And I need some information from you, Mr. Ivins. We're going to go off